Hey y'all, Moses here. Just thought I would bring you a little bit of an update, a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of news here on January 16th. It is a Tuesday, a beautiful Tuesday, and I have some fun stories for you related to PUBG today. Today's leading story is a bunch of cheaters got arrested in China for selling and distributing hacks. So this came out on Reddit today, and it's on a Bloomberg article. Basically, Tencent Holdings is going after the cheaters and hackers that infest PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. That's the first line in the article, so I just thought I would read it for you. As it prepares to bring the world's top-selling game to China. So yes, Tencent is getting ready to release the game in China on their own servers. That is something that's been ongoing for a while. That is not the story, however. Ahead of its official debut this year, the biggest gaming company on the planet has enlisted Chinese police to root out the underground rings that make and sell cheat software. It helped law enforcement agents uncover at least 30 cases and arrest 120 people suspected of designing programs that confer unfair advantages from aim hacks to X-ray vision, ESP, etc., etc. Those convicted in the past have done jail time. Oh my God, they're sending cheaters to jail, literal jail. I mean, that sounds like the reaction you would ask, or what you would hear if you asked YouTube commenters what should be done to hackers. First one would be like cut off their fingers. Second one, go to jail. Third, like take away their computer, throw it in the ocean. Like that's like the long shot punishment that you would not actually expect to happen, but it's actually happening because Tencent is not fucking around. So, anyway, Tencent and game developer Bluehole Incorporated have a lot riding on blah, 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 blah. Okay, so 27 million users. So one thing that's interesting in this article that I thought was pretty representative of the actual damage that hacking is doing to the game is the fact that between December and January, so December 1st and now, I guess, the game's sales have increased by 5 million, but only 131,000 daily active players have been added to the concurrent player count. So I was wondering if something had happened because, you know, the month-to-month record-breaking milestones have kind of slowed down, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, the game's not dead or anything like that, even though China accounts for more than half of the total player base. I think I tweeted this out that it's like 47 or 48% is China, and then, you know, you add Korea and other countries in there, it's more than half. But North America is something like 15%. That includes Canada, South America, everything like that. So that's a very tiny representation of the player base, considering the huge amount of people in China that play this game. So BattlEye has banned 1.5 million accounts so far for cheating, a whopping 6% of the total community. So I mean, this article is I'm going to link it down in the description so you can read it for yourself, since I'm basically stealing half of it anyway. But you can kind of read along because there's a lot of great tidbits in here. It's a never-ending battle, said the guy who's in charge of things. You could come up with something effective today, but something countered, or something that will counter will come out the next day. So that's not shocking. So the one thing that I think it would be kind of funny, like what are they charged? Like when I read this article, and even now I'm thinking of like the Fast and the Furious, when like the cops kick in the door to the warehouse and they all have VCRs, but in this case it's like, you know, all these guys are fleeing in fast vehicles from a place where they're just like sitting in front of computers making computer game hacks. That's what I'm imagining. But anyway, people convicted of disrupting computer networks face 5 years imprisonment or more under Chinese law. Back in 2010, a couple was fined 3 million yen and sentenced to 9 years for selling cheat software, according to local media reports. 9 years in jail. Chinese jail. That's insane. So Tencent is developing PUBG Mobile, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, I guess strike one down for the good guys, whatever phrase you want to use. That's kind of, I mean, it's not what I expected. It's kind of nice because, you know, it's pretty well known that 99% of hacks come from China. And, you know, I've talked about region locking. I'm at this point, I'm a proponent of region locking just due to the huge amount, like the population. They're not locking China out of North American servers. They're locking North American people in North American servers. Like China has so many more players than we do. Why are like they'd be doing us a favor? It would actually probably make our playing experience worse to have China thrown out, because that would mean matchmaking times would increase and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, there is literally no reason for Chinese players to play on North American servers other than to mess with us, I guess. Well, and I mean to play with their friends and stuff, which is fine. I understand that there's some of that going on. And in all of this, I have to give a little solidarity fist to the South Africans who just don't have anywhere to play. And if region locking comes in, I don't know. I guess I don't know what they'll have to do there, but. Oh, man, I mean, if this wasn't such a huge problem, there wouldn't be these huge, counters coming in, because sending people to jail is funny in a way, because that's video game cheats leading to jail time is interesting. But I guess that kind of speaks to how big a deal this is becoming. That it's out of control. It has been for a while. 7 out of 10 people in the top 10 on most leaderboards are cheaters. There's new ones every day. It seems like all I freaking talk about is cheating. And, the fact that the game is broken as well. So that's the next thing I want to jump into, is that the Spectate client is broken. I cast PUBG Online. Sorry, that was the wrong sentence. I cast PUBG Online, which is a league for PUBG esports. I went to IEM Oakland. I have been involved in PUBG esports for quite some time now. And there's a new event coming up in February. So within the next 30 days, it's happening in Poland, in Katowice, I believe is how you say that. And it is going to be a $50,000 tournament for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Now, the one in Oakland was for $200,000, so a significantly reduced prize pool. I think that's, I don't know what that's about, but it's still it's a major tournament by all PUBG standards, since there has not been any other cash prizes offered for PUBG outside of these ESL events. But right now, the game is in a state where people are going to be qualifying on a client that just randomly freezes all the time. And that's happening on matchmaking. It happens much more in custom games. And even the spectating experience is absolutely bad. It's unwatchable. It's nearly unwatchable in the early game, because people are warping everywhere. You can't quite tell what's going on. Clicking around in the spectator client is bad. So for those of you who are rolling your eyes saying, like, esports ready, at this point you're kind of right, because it's not. It is not esports ready. It was more ready a month ago or 2 months ago before 1.0 came out, and now it's getting worse. So OGN Global right now is putting on one of the biggest tournaments in Korea, where all these teams are trying to vie to get invited to this next tournament in Katowice. And I'm going to say Katowice. I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. I didn't do my research on how to say that word. But these teams are trying to compete in an environment that is not fair, in a game that was already kind of unfair to begin with when it comes to lag and desync and whatnot in a competitive setting. So it's getting a little bit worse. Now, I don't know what PUBG Corp is going to do about this ahead of this major event, but they've got a very short window to try and push these fixes. We haven't heard anything from the devs yet, but it's a situation that is kind of scary, because you have these guys that are trying to go pro in PUBG, which is a very viable thing. If you don't think that PUBG esports is coming, it is, because there's lots of events coming up, and they're trying to they're just trying to sort this stuff out, and as far as competition and how to perform. Meanwhile, the spectators don't get a good experience, the players don't get a good experience, and all behind this, you have these events propping up around something that really needs to be driven by Bluehole/PUBG Corp. So that's kind of all I wanted to talk about today. I don't know if I had anything else. I hope that you guys found something interesting. I really want to see your responses for this whole getting arrested, these cheaters getting arrested in China. I'm sure this will be civil discourse in the comments, but nonetheless, leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. If you follow PUBG esports, you can follow me on Twitter. I talk about it there all the time at wtfmoses. I talk about it on stream as well at wtfmoses on Twitch. So if you want to stop by and say hello, how are ya? I'll be there. But yeah, this was a fun story. If you could see me right now, I would be smiling from ear to ear, because I just think it's hilarious that people are going to jail for cheating in video games. Anyway, that's it. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. I'll have more content this week. And until next time, I'll see you out there.